motion to pull R15-151, and that's a resolution approving developers agreement for Sandy Hook developers.
You can just do that. You don't need a motion.
Okay.
I would like to pull R15-140. Streets.
Okay. Are you going to discuss that though?
Well,
Well, hold on, let's go.
Not now, I think about it.
Right, okay.
it's a discussion.
Okay.
So we're pulling, someone's going to offer a motion with the removal of 151 and 140.
Right, and 151 is going to be tabled at this time. 140, Councilman Carter to have a discussion on.
Okay.
So can I get a motion for the rest of the minutes of Highlands?
I will offer that.
Okay.
Mr.
A
Ryan.
second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Redmond. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mrs. Wells.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Doug, Councilman Carter, resolution authorizing purchasing of a street sweeper.
My concern is here, I've had no evidence to what cost analysis, whether we should keep a street sweeper, sublease it, vendor kind of situation, and then quite honestly, what street sweeper we're going to purchase, whether it be cab over or different things. I know we've had some demos in town on street sweepers, and Mr. Hill is on board with that. I'm just asking at the table until he comes back so we can brief us, so I'm more comfortable about spending that kind of money.
I'm fine with that. I spoke to Ken.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
So again, you want to do a motion just for expediency to do this and 150? Yeah, it's a
Well,
table.
yeah. Yeah, well,
Next regular meeting?
Right.
Yeah,
okay,
probably.
then yeah, let's.
That was
go
what I
on.
was
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I don't know if you want.
I'll reach out to Tim
and
and I'll ask him. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Offered by Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Seconded by?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Redmond. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Wells.
Yes.
Resolution R15-145, resolution raising the bid threshold.
I don't know that, it's actually when we bring him on as the QPA, I mean, Pat can talk to him, but as we bring, Kim Gonzalez on as our QPA, all of our bid thresholds increase significantly, so it makes it a lot easier for us to be able to do business with her in place. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
That's what it is, right? So the state law, they increased the bidding threshold from 36,000 to 40,000. This just will memorialize that.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll make a motion for R15-145.
Offered by Ms. Wells. I'll second that. Seconded by Ms. Ryan. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mrs. Wells.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R15-146, resolution appointing full-time dispatcher, that would be Martin Wally Jr.
Joe?
We had somebody retire, I'm going on retire for leave. Now,
So replace it.
Kevin, you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for it.
Seconded by Mr. Redmond.
I'll
second that. Seconded by Ms. Ryan. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mrs. Wells.
Yes.
Resolution R15-149, resolution to amend 2015 budget and set a public hearing date of August 5th at 8:00 p.m. to be a special meeting.
Could I ask that you explain to the public so they understand why we're doing that? Because there's been some confusion.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess to explain for the record there that we had our resolution approved to introduce our budget. I believe the date was March 18th. Then we had a public hearing on May 6th. So when this resolution was written, I apologize for any confusion if the wording is not agreeable, but the wording comes right out of the state webpage. So it does refer in here that the budgets was approved. That's the wording that's used out there. So the purpose of this resolution is to take us from the introduced numbers into the final budget numbers. And the real main reason why we're doing this is because we did get award the CDBG Essential Grant. That's new money for the town, over $400,000. So we received that award. So now what we're trying to do is get this budget adjusted for those receipts, as well as a few other little minor items in there. So the purpose of this resolution is, if it's approved tonight, to go ahead and have a public hearing on it. We would advertise it in July, at the end of July there, and have a public hearing on it on August 5th, and then hopefully go for the adoption of the budget. Now, this does require to be read to the minutes. Okay, so if that's okay, if you're ready for that, or if you have any questions, whatever you want to do.
I'm okay with that. Does anybody at the table have questions?
No, it's fine with me, and I do want to read.
Okay.
And we will have a public hearing.
Yes.
So tonight you're looking for a
Yes.
vote, and then August 5th we'll have a public
Yes,
hearing.
correct.
Okay,
And
so,
for clarity, it's not being adopted tonight
correct.
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 And the public hearing will be after it's
at the next regular session.
August
August 5th.
5th.
Thank you.
Okay, yep, no problem at all. And there is a typo on page 2, and I just want to yell that out first. There is one, yeah. And it's under line L, and it's in the column that says the word 2. I typed in an extra 0, so it looks like it's 115 million. It should be 11,576,820. So there's one extra 0. Yeah.
Well, thank you for clarifying
Yeah,
that.
so that's a big number,
Me up
but
at
it's
night.
only a total, so it's not impacting taxes. So let me read this in here real quick.
Okay.
It's going to be Borough of Highlands, Monmouth County, New Jersey, resolution to amend the 2015 budget. Whereas the calendar year 2015 budget was approved, the resolution was approved on the 18th day of March 2015, and whereas the public hearing on said budget has been held as advertised, and whereas it is desired to amend said approved budget, now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the Borough of Highlands, County of Monmouth, that the following amendments to the approved calendar year 2015 budget be made. And then it goes anticipated revenue surplus from 200,000 to 898,588. And then it says total surplus, the same numbers. Item 3, miscellaneous revenues, UCC fees from 150,000, and that number goes to 170,000. And the totals are the same. Item number 3, miscellaneous revenues, section F, special items and general revenues anticipated with prior written consent of the Division of Local Government Services, and that's the CDBG Essentials Grant. That number we anticipated $1,135,650. The actual number came in to $437,062. The next columns is subtotal here. Subtotal section F goes from $2,644,377.60. That number will now read on the official budget. It will read $1,945,789.60. Sorry, I'm boring you. I got to read this stuff in here. Total miscellaneous revenues from $4,751,790.39. That number will go to $4,073,202.39. Subtotal item number 5 will go from $5,716,790.39. Goes to $5,736,790.39. These are just subtotals. And the total general revenues will go from $12,656,820.60 to $12,676,820.60. That's the appropriation. The revenue side, the appropriations will be changed as follows. Legal services will go from $200,000 to $210,000. Engineering services would go from $150,000 to $170,000. Code enforcement would go from $46,000 to $71,000. Police salaries and wages would go from $894,350 to $1,492,938. Just to clarify that, it's simply a movement from outside the cap to inside the cap. The salaries are not increasing. It's the presentation of the budget. Okay. Road repairs and maintenance would go from $180,000 in salaries to $230,000 in salaries. That also is a shifting from outside the cap to inside the cap. So it's just a shifting of the same numbers. Uniform construction code would go from $120,000 to $135,000. Total operations within caps, $5,573,014 goes to $6,291,602. The total operations including contingents, the same numbers I just read. And the salaries, the detail of salaries, $2,137,350 goes to $2,825,938. And operating expenses go from $3,435,664. That number it will go to $3,465,664. Almost there. Total general appropriations, item H1 goes from $6,115,123. It will now go to $6,833,711. Appropriations outside the cap, the CDBG Essential Grant. It will go from police salaries and wages from $1,035,650. It goes down to $437,062. Streets and road salaries from $50,000 to $0. UCC salaries from $50,000 to $0. Total public and private programs offset by revenues is $2,659,377.60. Will now read $1,960,789.60. Total appropriations excluded from caps, $2,914,377.60. That will go to $2,215,789.60. Detailed salaries and wages goes from $1,135,650, goes down to $437,062. Total item H2, total general appropriations will go from $5,441,697.60. It goes to $4,743,109.60. The next category is the same thing, it's just the same numbers. Item L, subtotal general appropriations. That will go from $11,556,820.60, and that goes to my corrected number of $11,576,820.60. And the total general appropriations goes from $12,656,820.60, and it goes to $12,676,820.60. I know it's a lot of numbers in there. The official document will have it all in there. Be it further resolved that the two certified copies of this resolution be filed forthwith in the Office of Director of Division of Local Government Services for certification of the calendar year 2015 budget as amended. Be it further resolved that this complete amendment in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 48-4-9 be published in the Two River Times in the issue of July 24th, 2015, and that said publication contain notice of a public hearing on said amendment to be held on August 5th, 2015 at the Highlands Elementary School, 360 Navesink Avenue, Highlands, New Jersey at 8 o'clock. And then the rest is certification. Okay. So lots of numbers there.
Okay. May I have a motion to amend the 2015 budget?
I'll make that a motion.
Offered by Mr. Redmond,
Okay, second?
I will second that.
second by Ms. Ryan. Mr. Park? Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Love?
Yes.
Resolution R15-154, resolution renewing liquor licenses.
This is, I believe, we're going to take the vacancies out at this point.
Yes.
So first, just do a motion to remove the.
I'd like to make a motion to remove women C from the renewal of liquor license at this time.
Offered by Mr. Green,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Park. Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Love?
Yes.
So that amends 15-154 to just remove it.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'll make a motion as amended for R 15 and 54.
Offered by Ms. Hill, second by Mr. Park. Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Love?
Yes.
Resolution R15-155, resolution appointing DPW summer seasonal. There is a typo in the resolution. There are two people, Joseph Wong is part-time and also part-time.
Okay, I have no objections to that. I'll make a motion for R 15 and 55.
Offered by Mrs. Wells,
I'll second that.
seconded by Ms. Ryan. Mr. Park?
Abstain?
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Wells?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R15-156, resolution authorizing receipt of bids for electronic and lighting upgrades to Veterans Park using open space funds.
Yeah, we discussed it earlier, so we.
Bring the public.
Yeah.
I spoke to most of the council members. There was a problem with the email systems this week, but I'm asking for the council to approve so we can go out to bid for the next meeting. So we have electrical specs that we can potentially actually get this repaired using funds. It needs approval to go out to bid. Ken worked on the specs, work with Dale to just detail them out. To use your words, a la carte, so we can get into a proper approach. That's all I'm asking for.
I mean, I have no problem with the use of over with the open space meeting on the 20th. I guess the only thing is we need to make a decision because I know there's two proposals, right, Ken?
That's what I think we're trying to
So
work out
we
with
need
the
to vet that
GAO.
out.
Well, there are two, that's fully for the contractor that ultimately get to help decide which one.
You could,
Yeah, there's not much that, there's not much that we need to do. I mean, we spoke earlier today, what I would like to do is do it in its entirety, the project, and
Well,
not piecemeal it.
It would be one bid, in fact, before the contractor bid on it, he's gonna have to go down there and meter that line and determine how to bid it properly. It's his responsibility to do it, and that would be in the bid spec. Again, this is not something I do on a daily basis, but we write it up so we get a proper bid, and the goal is, so at the next regular meeting, we can sit down, and if all the bids are outrageous, we just reject them, and then we take another option. No, I'm gonna felt at least moving in the right direction on potentially getting that part done. So that's why I'm asking.
And Ken, thank you for all your work. It's really good plan, so I appreciate it. Thank Daryl.
So I can mention that, or if there's any questions.
If I could add something to that, just if we're gonna say formalize this in the bid specs, I would need some kind of an authorization to go ahead and do that. And I could get you if this is the plan we're going with, I could get you a cost quickly to do that.
And Timmy was on board with that plan, he was with all of you. And
Yeah, he
I just
seemed
wanna make
he
sure
seemed on
everything's-
board with it. If this is what we're going with, I get you a cost just to say formalize this into
I mean, because
a.
honestly, what I would like to do is be able to at least share the cost with the open space committee at the meeting. I don't know if you'll be able to turn around by the 20th or roundabout.
I'll get something turned around, if not by Friday, be say like Monday.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Okay.
Just to vet out cost, do a cost estimate based on this, like a construction cost estimate, and just give you a cost just to formalize it in specs.
Okay.
There was one thing though that, we weren't sure when we left him, the lighting, that the basketball court, that he said it might have to be some kind of compliant, certain type of lighting for basketball courts.
Well, then why don't we touch base with him Monday morning?
All right, I'll get what I have into motion as far as costing, and then we can always talk to Tim when he comes back Monday, and then just finalize.
Because I would say I honestly wouldn't know what that would cost, so
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a matter of a tweak here and a tweak there, then we'll do that, but.
He said that could be added later.
Okay.
All right, but still, yeah, we should know all the costs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do everything as comprehensive as, once you start adding on in another phase, things tend to. Yeah. Okay, so basically, if R 15-156, would that be a resolution authorizing Dale to put that together?
you want to add that, we will vote to amend it to add that.
Yeah, why don't we vote to amend it to have, add that all in the resolution?
Do you know how much?
Well, I guess the amount
That-
would be determined,
That's, you can determine that line.
yeah. We'll just give him the authorization to move forward, getting the authorization.
Right. Listen. Here's what I'll do. Because you're going to move forward with the meeting next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
on
right.
the
If you
22nd.
want to do something for the 22nd, what I'll do is we'll work up a construction cost in the meantime, and I'll get a cost to formalize these individuals. We don't waste any time. We don't lose time on that, and then you can do an authorization next meeting just to formalize these in the bid specs, and then we'll move them out.
Okay,
All right. Fair enough.
Vote on this tonight and we'll vote on my own.
okay.
Alright.
A motion.
So I make a motion, second, or, are you good?
Yes. Second by Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Remy?
Yep.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes. Yes.
Resolution R 15-157, resolution authorizing discretionary spending of open space funds for Veterans Park not to exceed $10,000 for various items.
I agree, most of the council, I think every council member here. It's definitely controlled spending because the purchasing agent, Kim Gonzalez, is on it. We're so close to completing Veterans Park, there's the what if incidentals, for example, tri-bars going beyond and fixing some of the sidewalks, so that's additional concrete costs. Screws, we're about to do that. We don't want to be held up, we're trying to get this done for Bernard. It'd be by procedure, no cost greater than $10,000. I've been on top of it. The bid's been on top of it, tri-bar barriers, get on top of it, reel them in. I'm just asking this so we can get done for this event.
I just said, so I understand it. I just want to add in subject to standard and customary procurement statute. So what you're doing is setting aside the money right now, and then it goes to Kim.
But I wasn't sure if we needed a resolution for that, or if you could, I mean, I have no problem saying use the open space fund, go through Kim. I don't know if we need a resolution. I'm not comfortable with doing a resolution for discretionary spending.
Yeah.
I don't like how that sounds, even for you,
Yeah,
I don't know if Pat was raising his hand.
you know,
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
so,
I think the best way to accomplish this is set up an open purchase order. So if we have a similar vendor, though, then, you know, is it a vendor?
Well,
that we want from?
again,
Is it a person or?
it's gonna be material. It will be, i.e., for example, I know we're gonna have to order probably 9 to 12 yards of concrete. There's only so many concrete providers, and it's clean. So I would go to Ms. Gonzalez when we're ready and say, all right, I need a purchase order for 9 yards. Clayton is, I'm assuming that's what you would go to. But at the same time, we may need additional clamps or whatever, joist hangers, because Barry's gone out beyond and purchased more. But my fear is that we're at the 12th hour. I don't want to be held up by an incidental.
Right, so if I may say, the way to do it, I know the intent, but this sounds like we're having an open
I don't want that. That's right.
So
that's
the
fine,
way,
that's what we're about.
Yeah.
right, the best way is to set up open purchase orders with the vendors that you think you may be utilizing. And this way, once you have an open order, you can go ahead and buy the supplies, and that would make us comply with government requirements for purchasing,
How do you go about setting up an open purchase?
Just going to Kim.
just like you said. So let's say you're going to be using.
Okay, so
She'll charge me against open space.
okay, so I will consult with her, but I just want it to be public knowledge that I'm going to do that, and it's going to come from open space.
Right. And that's more than fine. I think some of my agenda was obviously the labor concern. We want to make sure that
It's strictly for material.
time and it's strictly
Strictly
for
for
material that I'm just working through with Kim.
So we're not going to vote on this as a.
I think if we're all okay, to do that.
I'm just making it public knowledge and for the record that I'll be consulting with our purchasing agent, working out purchase orders with certain vendors. And I'll even make a
Well, we're not
commitment,
doing.
any purchase over $2,000, I will call 2 council members independently, just to make them aware so there's no surprises, yeah, and hang-ups. And Ms. Ryan and I have been communicating on Veterans Park, so nothing's been in the dark.
So you're not gonna have this as a resolution?
Right, we're not going to vote on it.
Based
It's
on
just
what-
going to work it internally.
Based on what Pat said, I think that's the best thing to be able to.
So we can solve it, right?
Thank you for that support.
Becky,
Resolution R 15158, resolution appointing, this is something an add-on, because of the email glitch that I'm having, I didn't get this last week. It's a resolution to appoint a part-time special officer, class 2, Ryan Anderson. And that would be at the $50 per hour as per the contract.
That's because the other class two was hired by another county line.
Okay, I have no problem with it on this.
And it was just replacing the one you had. One got hired by another county police officer.
Okay, all fine as well?
I'll second it.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Weiss?
Yes.
On for introduction, setting of a public hearing date for August 19th is ordinance 0-15-21, an ordinance amending sections 3-2.1, 3-2.2, and 3-2.3, and 2.4 of the Borough of Highlands Code of Ordinances.
I'm going to let the chief speak to this because there's been so many iterations, I'm not sure.
Well, that was part of the problem. This is enough to really just clarify some things. And Mr. Redmond, Mr. Carter, and I met, Mr. Zlecki, and so forth. We discussed a lot of things. And this is really just clarifying it for the most part. Major changes are, first one was a typo on our part somehow. One section made the outdoor music 9 o'clock at night. Another section just said 8. Just clarifying that. Second one, clarification, speech interference test must be performed to determine if noise is unreasonable. That was the criteria we set, for speech interference during the day. standard we set. In there, we also left in there somehow other factors that can be considered, but don't have to be. One of them was entering into a resident's house to determine if it was, could be unreasonable. So the standard we talked about from the get-go was the speech interference. So that's add. Another one clarified frequency or long continuing noise as it relates to animals or birds. But it wasn't clarified what it meant, long term. And the only other one was we added an affected person, meaning that we discussed this amongst our council and I when we originally did it. And there was a recommendation by Mr. Zwerling from the Rutgers Noise Technical Institute that we need an affected person to call. In other words, the police department couldn't just go and sit outside a certain resident establishment and just randomly audit them to see if the music was too loud. We need an affected person. That does not mean that that person ever has to go to court or going to subpoena them at all. It's just in line with the state noise orders. That's why this was they're the only change. And we discussed these before, but somehow, Mr. Redmond said we had so many versions go back and forth somehow.
Okay, Councilman Card and Redmond, you're good with
Yes.
this, and we can go ahead and move to a public hearing?
I agree.
Do you want to make a motion?
Motion by Mr. Redmond,
Second.
second by Mr. Card. Mr. Card?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yeah.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Wells? Okay. On for introduction, setting up a public hearing date for August 19th at 8 o'clock is ordinance 0-15-22, an ordinance authorizing the release of certain capital equipment by the Borough of Highlands, New Jersey from the Monmouth County Police Authority and execution of a lease and agreement relating thereto.
Right, Pat, do you want to touch on this? I mean, this is something that's been in the works for a while. I believe it's 2 police cars and a dump truck.
Yeah, so the county opens up a program that we can actually acquire vehicles through them, and I believe it's opened up every other year in this county here. And this is something that, speaking with the administrator, we'd like to set aside funding for 2 police vehicles and a dump truck to be purchased at a later date. Doesn't mean you have to buy it now, but it's a
Just
plan.
hold it.
It's setting up funding to buy in the future.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Set it for a public hearing? Kevin? Second.
Offered by
Myself?
Mr. Redmond,
Second?
I'll second that.
second by Ms. Ryan. Mr. Card?
No.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Wells?
Yes.
Motion carries. On for introduction, setting up a public hearing date for August 19th is ordinance 0-15-23, an ordinance authorizing the private sale of certain property owned by the Borough of Highlands, not required for public purposes pursuant to NJSA 48:12-13, etc.
Okay, Carol, do you mind explaining what parcel this is? I know it came late, so I apologize.
I think it's down by Bayside Drive.
It's a small piece of property that is completely surrounded by private property. It's only 3,000 square feet, 3,900 square feet, 3,100 square feet. So that statutorily, you can offer it to the contiguous property owners first,
Okay,
and which is what we're doing. We did this process before.
all right, I'm fine with it, I'll move it.
Offered by Ms. Wells,
Second.
second by Mr. Card. Mr. Card?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Wells?
Yes.
Next is to committee reports. Finance?
Okay, Pat?
Yeah, well, just one comment here. We just got an email from the State Division of Taxation today saying that the Division of Taxation has begun to mail the 2014 Senior Freeze property tax reimbursement checks to the applicants who filed by the original deadline of June 1st. So the PTR program is now being funded by the state, so just to let everyone know that.
Okay. Jonas Fox for Public Safety, or Rob, got anything?
I can't speak on behalf of the department. She's not here.
Okay. Cindy is not here tonight. Sarah, do you have anything for Board of Education?
Yeah, I do. A couple of things. First of all, the media center here in this school is being transformed over the summer, and there'll be another book drive probably in September. And that is the work of the new principal, Mrs. Schutz, and she's just great, and we're very happy about that.
Most of you know that a young student of Henry Hudson was killed in a hit-and-run accident last week. Henry Hudson has created a scholarship for her, and the volunteers of the library, where Marissa worked every weekend, are creating an award to be given to the sixth grade student graduating from here in her memory. And there's a lot of work out there. People are collecting for the family, which really needs to help. I think Henry Hudson, the principal, did a wonderful job. She brought in grief counselors, even though the school year was over, and many people took advantage of that. And that's really what's going on here for that, right?
Joe, do you want to speak? Did you step down?
About,
Your report for the month? Or,
Public safety.
I submitted a report for them, it's pretty lengthy, I don't know what I can do at all.
okay, anything special? No?
No.
Okay. Business partnership?
I'm sorry, I don't have one prepared.
Why don't you just
I
beg
could
for
just-
volunteers for
yeah,
Plan Fest
yeah.
like usual? Call 732-291-4700. Okay?
Discuss the.
Anything else?
No, I think everybody's up to date on Veterans Park and, the one thing though, there is, not the Highlands Business Partnership, but the, Henry Hudson Tri-District Foundation, we're having, cocktail and boat, cruise on July 25th. There's information on Facebook about it. You know, if anyone's interested in attending, there's about 30 to 40 tickets left. So you can go to the Tri-District Foundation's, Facebook page.
Can I add to that, please? Okay, there are two different prices. There's one price if you want to attend the cocktail party, which is at a lovely home off of South Portland Road. And another price if you care to go out on the yachts.
It's $100 a ticket or $150 a couple for the cocktail party. All the food is being created by, actually Jim Phillip, formerly of Doris and Ed's, is organizing all the food with, Kim from Etal, and we have like 6 restaurants from Atlantic, or 5 restaurants and 8 restaurants from Highlands. We have, it's a really nice menu, you know, and bar and whatnot. And then it's, $300 a person to go on the yacht, or $500 a couple. So there's two kinds of tickets, and,
And they're all tax deductible.
and then the other thing is, we do have a new business that was issued their mercantile yesterday, the restaurant Porcini. So we'll be, planning, their ribbon cutting for probably next weekend. They're
So check out
interested.
this weekend?
Yeah, they changed their mind for
Okay.
this weekend. Too
Yeah.
short of a notice.
I agree.
Yeah.
You should be texting her.
Yeah.
So can I add on to that for a minute?
And,
Not this weekend, okay.
and then, of course, you know, another new property owner working on, obviously, Sandal, 165 Bay. And, I submitted the request for the.
Yep, and we have that.
Right, just something else too, just it's been encouraging lately, we've been getting different types of businesses that are looking to come downtown, which is good. I've got a veterinarian that's very close to purchasing a property, one of the vacant buildings on Bay Avenue. I know somebody else purchased 242 Bay to put an office in there. And I also, what's that?
Is that the lawyer's office? That was
The
already-
Sean Burns office, the old lawyer's
Yeah,
office,
right.
that's where the veterinarian is looking to
Okay.
purchase. And then I also have somebody inquired about bringing a hair salon to town.
Oh, nice.
So you're getting a different group of businesses, which is encouraging. There's, you know, maybe a little bit of a spark, you know, people starting to come back a little bit and fill some of the gaps. So I think it's an encouraging thing.
I think the streetscape is definitely gonna help.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, under shared services, myself, Mr. Redmond, we've still been working pretty adamantly with Seabright. If you want to go ahead and just report a little bit on it. I know Dale's kind of working up some of the concepts of what we're looking to do, and it's a good conversation, because it's,
We're looking to partner up with the Public Works between Seabright and Highlands. They're looking because they need room at the because they don't have any, and they have to get out of flood zone. So we're taking a look at the old, or existing building that's down there, and looking to put up a larger building where we can store our equipment plus Seabright's equipment. We've had meetings for the last few months. They're very positive on it. We had some details that we had Mr. Gale draw up, and we have another meeting at the end of this month to discuss more, and we're looking in hopefully to close the deal sometime before Labor Day. They want to be in sometime by November.
All right, Tara, website RSP?
Okay, just wanted to, announce to the public that we have received 8, respondents of people who, companies who were interested in, doing that. Tim and I just very, very quickly went through them. Did not really look at every single thing they offered. We just were checking them in to make sure that we had everything. And when Tim comes back from vacation, we're going to meet next Thursday.
Okay.
To go over them, and I'll have more, but I just wanted to let people know that we had not forgotten about it.
Okay, great. Other business, engineers, status report, although it says engineer state report, Carolyn.
I know.
Where's the state of the engineer's address?
The state of Dale. Let's hear it.
Real quick, just some of these are a bit redundant. The large stormwater systems improvements project, that's the large drainage project downtown. It's still in the permit process. The resiliency grant, they did originally deny us. We did appeal it, so we submitted documentation for appeal. Not sure how successful it will be, but if you don't ask, it's always no. So we took that approach with Timmy and resubmitted for that. The North Street Pump Station, that's also in the permit stage. The design's pretty much complete. Just a matter of just getting the permits in place now and working out the access with the property owners. The Bay Street retaining wall project, that project is complete. Final closeout documentation is currently being compiled, and we'll submit the final payment for that. The Waterwitch and Linden drainage project, known as the DBIS pipe. Basically, we've gotten freehold soil approval, which is good. Still awaiting DOT approval on the detour, because we're going to have to close the intersection when we work Linden and Waterwitch. And then they still waiting for final approval from Monmouth County. The Community Center ADA walkway project, we did solicit quotes. The quotes came in extremely high. Seems to be from the, because of the bituminous walkway replacement, that seemed to drive the cost up. So I spoke to our purchasing agent, Kim Gonzalez, and we are soliciting 3 other quotes. Those don't have to be accepted, there's no formal action to be taken. So we're in the process of doing that. The streetscape project, I have the conceptual boards behind us. That is currently out to bid. We'll be receiving bids next Tuesday with an anticipated award of next Thursday, and we'll get that one going to construction. So that's an exciting project that's well needed downtown. Shore Drive Phase 2 from Waterwitch to Locust. You awarded the contract to Fiore Paving back in June. Still awaiting concurrence from the DOT for that award. Once we get that, we can have a pre-construction meeting. In the meantime, we're preparing contracts, getting that all situated so the contractor can, in essence, hit the ground running, hopefully. So we're looking at a construction period of August for that. The Shrewsbury Avenue, North Street inflow pipe replacement project. That design is also substantially complete. That has been submitted to the NJDOT for approval and also the community development. One thing I did speak to several council about in my subcommittee was normally when we do a road like this, we'll do we'll TV the sewer lines and get an idea of how they are. We did that for the Basin 2 project several years ago, and the consensus one I'm hearing is don't, instead of going back out and spending another $10,000–$15,000 on doing this again. I spoke to DPW, spoke to Wayne Occupanti, and the only issues he's had down in that area has been grease. We've had no pipe failures. We do have a couple repairs identified in the Basin 2 project, so we will we'll incorporate those into that project, and we'll go from there. But instead of spending the $10,000 or $15,000, it was decided to take that approach, which is more than fun. Just to reiterate on some of these projects, you have a $200,000 grant for Shore Drive. 210 from the DOT for Shrewsbury, and over 178 from Monmouth County for the North Street Pipe project. So that's over $500,000 in grants for these projects alone, so that definitely is a good thing. The reconstruction of Bay Street, the survey has been started. Mother Nature has not been too cooperative over the last several days, so they still have another day or two of field work to go, and I should have a base map hopefully sometime next week, to which we could further identify the areas of concern, and hopefully try to develop a solution to alleviate some of the issues that are out there while we're trying to get funding put in place for that project. Under FEMA reimbursement, as you're aware, the community center project is underway. Contractor has started. You awarded the contract for that back on June 25th. That project is currently being handled by the architect Joe Tomino, so I don't have much of an update tonight on that, but I do know that the contractor has been working. And then under the private property debris removal program, this is a project that allows for demolition of houses that were damaged during Sandy, and they're currently vacant. We did a solicitation through the newspaper. Chief will be sending out a robocall for everybody that's interested. If you are interested, or you know somebody that is interested, FEMA will, under this program, if your house is eligible, will knock the house down virtually no cost to the resident. You know, it depends on the last 10%, if it's a lien on the property, or if the borough decides to absorb that cost. But the cost would be much cheaper than doing it on your own, and it gets rid of some of the houses of blight. So if anybody is interested, please see me or reach out to me. You can also reach out to the borough, and we can work that way. We do have 2 houses that are currently interested. They filled out the preliminary paperwork already. So if we don't get any new inquiries, and shortly, we're going to go out to bid with those 2 houses and at least get those 2 knocked down and move this, start moving this thing forward. So that's something that's well needed and also moving forward. And then besides that, that's pretty much my report for tonight.
Thank you, Devin. Anybody have any questions of Devin? Dr. Dick?
I'm good, thank you.
Do you need a Vets Park update or?
No, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
On the streetscape, you mentioned you brought boys in to look at them yet, but did they have any of the suggestions reflected in them?
Those don't, because those are the ones that we had that night.
The same ones.
Right, the same ones from that night, but the new plans from what when we had the conversations with Ms. Kane and everything, Mr. Card, the whatever was agreed to is what's going in. So,
What we went back and forth with.
so the new plans, Carolyn will have a set of those plans tomorrow. I just didn't want to bring them tonight, so she's give her something else to lug around to the office tomorrow. So there will be there'll be a set of plans at Borough Hall tomorrow for the public to peruse. But that's a very exciting project for the downtown. That's much needed.
Will you have PDFs of the new ones that I can send out?
Not during the bid period because people are purchasing them for bidding purposes. Afterwards, we can certainly talk.
Yeah, I mean, just to send out again to the members.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Kim, you doing something?
The best way to get in touch with you for the PPDR?
You can, by email or by phone. I have business cards, or if you don't know my email by now, or whatever, we can certainly.
I'm gonna try and publicize it.
Absolutely. It's a good project to a good program to take advantage of if we could use it. There's no doubt.
Katie?
The program you were talking about getting those houses knocked down, that's only for Sandy damaged homes, correct?
Yeah. What happens is there's a lot of houses that are beside Sandy that need attention. We'll call it that. But what happens, FEMA has to come out and vet those properties. So say I might say, yeah, you know what, we want to knock this one down. FEMA still has to agree with that. So if they see a property that may have been vacant for, say, many years besides that, they might turn around and say, yeah, no, not this one.
I was told they're not applicable if they were pre-existing from Sandy.
In FEMA's eyes, they're not, but FEMA starts to vet them out. Okay?
So you're saying put them on the list and see what
It
happens?
doesn't hurt to have them.
You know what, if they, but the thing is that the owners have to, the owners of those properties have to, they have to be willing to jump into this program. And then, FEMA might say yes, they might say no.
All right, you're good on Vets Park?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to, Kim Gonzalez dealing with it, I would like to use what she said. FEMA's not gonna tell you no, you have to ask them. So if you ask them, they may say yes. And that was an encouragement statement out of her, because she's getting us a lot of money in return on on different things. So I think that's what this program can't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
We might be able to
Right.
get some.
If the property owner comes forward, you know, we'll start the process with them, but understanding with the caveat with any of the houses, that FEMA for one reason or another could turn them away. But at least, you know, I use the old adage, if you don't ask, it's always no.
And I have to say that to Kim's credit, she's asking for quite a lot. You know, I really should give her a debt of gratitude from this table because she's doing fantastic. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars she's finding, you know, and just really asking, and they're thinking very favorable of a lot of it, so it's kind of good. Everything's coming to fruition. Okay. No smoking ordinance, Chief Fluid's comments.
I don't know why you want my comments. I did read the ordinance. Someone brought up several municipalities that had ordinances for no smoking in public. I called one of those, that's in Monmouth County, and basically that chief told me that it was on paper only. They don't enforce it. No one's ever called about it. They don't enforce it anyway. Looking at it, I don't see how we're going to realistically enforce it. And as we've seen in the past, having ordinances on the books that we're not going to commit to enforce, it's just problematic. You know, I'm an adamant anti-smoker, but I just don't see how we can realistically enforce that.
Tara, do you want to speak? I know you.
No, it's interesting. It is, you know. I mean, after I spoke with Greg when he brought it to my attention, and I was interested in it, you know. But again, now, when he gave me the list initially, I said the same thing. How can we possibly do this? I mean, I don't know if we could can we put signs up without a resolution? Can we create smoking areas? I think that might be something that we can do.
Right.
And I'd like to pursue that. Okay? That there are certain areas, because everybody has rights. And even though I'm not a smoker, I think that perhaps smokers should be allowed to have an area of the beach or an area of the park. So I'd rather continue this and have more discussion.
Okay.
Is there, just real quick, a public place, either a restaurant or store, whatever, what is the outside area that you're not supposed to be smoking in for public? Okay, because with the main entrance, what I thought, that is supposed to be a flow, that no one's supposed to be smoking in that area.
Offhand, I'm not sure what it is. I thought it was not positive.
Well, I mean, I think it's
I don't know, you know.
Restaurant or a quick stop.
I think it's something we can look into, you know, have further discussions,
Right.
see how we can work it out.
My essence, I do agree with you. If you choose to smoke, you should have a right to smoke. It's your body, it's your
Right.
because of drinking, whatever. But as a result of being down Veterans Park a lot, it's really discouraging to see the number of cigarette butts that are around the playground areas. Maybe we can explore it, yes, Chief, on paper 90% of the time, but then one or two times, and what's really sad is I'm down there and I see parents smoking, the kids running around. That's where an officer could turn around and utilize that to help.
But why don't we start with some
See,
signs first?
the thing is not, the smoking outside, I guess, is very difficult.
I agree.
But what you do to dispose of the cigarette
Right.
afterward
Right.
is what
That's it.
I think is disgusting, because
True.
they're all, like you said,
And the flowers.
flowers out
Not
the roads,
everybody
you take
does,
them out
but
the
some
streets.
people.
And
Some
that
people
may
don't care,
be
just throw them out the window. I mean,
That may be something.
something
we
we
can
could do.
Yeah. Right. That's what we can try to figure that out.
Well,
Can you just
we will
think of
continue this.
Sorry, Okay, and then
Thank you.
finally, we have, and Carolyn, you had in the email requests for use of Veterans Park, but then on the agenda it says Huddy.
Oh, I'm sorry, I believe it was Heidi.
It is Huddy, I just want to make sure.
Let me just double check.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Heidi Park.
Go on.
Marianne Nolan, with regards, she's looking for August 8th, or with a rain date of August 9th, to do some sort of walk with regard to,
Oh,
the young girl.
I don't know.
Okay,
She's one
that's no
of
problem.
Lorianne's
Yeah.
Girl Scouts.
She's not the only one.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a problem with that, I just wanna make sure we have the right park noted, so.
Yes, it is height.
Not
Thank
that
you.
we have a big request for parks all the time.
Okay, and what day of the week is that?
8:50.
August 8th,
Saturday.
it's February.
Saturday,
February
August 8th.
That's in,
Rain date.
well,
Saturday.
I'm sure she was here.
Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, but Carla, did she talk to you about the farmer's market, it's gonna be,
Afterwards.
I mean, is that okay, is it all gonna fit? I don't know how big of an event it is,
I don't know.
or what time.
Yeah. She just told me it was a walk, she didn't say she was packing it in. the
I'm
car.
sure it'll be fine. I mean,
She might have a table there for sign.
Yeah.
We should find out what
Okay.
it is, so it doesn't interfere with.
I have no
the
problem
farmer's
with it.
market. Okay. Yeah, oh, yeah, I have no problem with it, but let's,
Okay. Anybody have an issue?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm good with it. All right, public portion, Kim Scorpa, 315 Shore Drive.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. I think all my questions are on ordinances that are gonna be adopted at a later date, public hearing. I think I'm good.
Okay. Carol Bucko,
Oh, I'm sorry.
okay.
Just one quick question for Dale. On the sewer lines, you said the only issue was grease. What are we doing about that? Are we enforcing the grease trap ordinance?
You know what, I don't know, because I don't get involved with that. I know we have one, but I know grease has been a problem downtown for years, partly on Shrewsbury, a lot on Bay. You know, and basically it does wreak havoc on our lines. I mean, it acts as plugs, and sometimes the grease is so thick, that they actually, take cutters to try to even just blast through it and free up an area. So that's something that either the plumbing official or the Board of Health deals with. We can certainly.
I think Paul Vitale
Yeah.
handles it because he had just sent notice out to the.
All right, so Paul's on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say Paul's on it.
Yeah.
And he's addressing it, but then it's condition response, some of the restaurants misinterpret them.
Checking logs
Yeah,
and stuff like that, I know we dealt with some of that.
Okay, thank you.
Carol Bucko, 330 Shore Drive.
Right, 330 Shore Drive. The electrical work going to be done at Veterans Park. You gonna put those cone heads back again?
No.
Are you volunteering?
First of all, I hate Veterans Park, and I hate those cone heads. But in addition to that, I hate the statues and all the things.
I think you don't.
All right, Carol, let's go through what you
I
like.
love Veterans Park.
I think
I'm
we're
very
all
good
in
at
agree-
that.
we're all in agreement
91-year-old.
about
We're gonna actually Carol, the first thing we're doing is lighting chicken coops.
Okay, and how about lighting the flags too?
That needs to be done.
Because they've never been.
Yep, that needs to be done.
It's
Absolutely.
on the list.
Okay.
The lighting that's existing, in there, that was part of the 9/11 monument.
Memorial project.
It already includes, and they're there, they're just not coming on right now.
Right.
So once that's repaired, then the flags will be
No
up.
cone rings.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Carol?
Oh, yeah. Seabright, your shared services with Seabright. I want you to be very careful about that and use your head. We shared services with Seabright many years ago, and it cost us a bloody fortune, and Seabright got all the benefits. We had a contract with them to collect their garbage, and we never got paid enough for the contract. The trucks couldn't get down the streets. They had to take extra dump trucks to go down the streets and pick up garbage. They had bulk pickup every week. We didn't have it but 4 times a year, and they had it every week. And we lost money on it. We lost a lot of money on it. So I want you to use your head if you're going to share a service with Seabright or any other town. But I did see that in the newspaper. The newspaper was very interesting this week, very, very interesting. On the smoke ordinance thing, you have listed the VFW.
We didn't list it.
It's
It's
listed
on
on here.
there, but we did not.
Yeah, we discussed that at the last meeting, that.
Yeah, I mean, they have provided an outdoor area for their
Right.
people to smoke,
They're safe.
and they have.
Yeah, Carol, it was a
things
mistake. The
Okay.
person who drafted it put it
Well,
on
there's
there.
also a park on Miller and Shore that doesn't exist anymore. I think that's
Well,
where the
Frank
firehouse
Hall.
is. No, on Miller and Shore. Frank Hall is up the street.
Right, halfway up the hill.
That's what,
Used to be the old community center.
Miller and Shore must be where the fireman's basketball thing was. It's not there anymore, right?
Sure.
Okay, but anyway, be careful about that. Be careful about this. I agree that the smoking ordinance cannot probably be enforced. But you could enforce it in the areas of restaurants and things within a certain number of feet, whatever that feet is, I don't know.
And children's playground.
The DPW jobs, were they advertised any place, Carol?
Are they right now? No, I believe that, I missed it off, but no, but, I believe they were advertised, a while back.
The summer jobs were advertised?
I believe so, along with recreation.
Yeah, someone else put out quite a while ago.
April,
Okay, just checking. And then, interestingly, my favorite, LoSAP.
Send them 2 minutes off.
She had a nice time.
You know, I think I've questioned that every year. Nobody seems to know where the points come from, how the points are allotted. All is presented to the council is a paper with numbers on it.
I'm gonna meet with
Never
Kevin O'Donnell.
delineates how these points were earned.
I'm gonna meet with Kevin O'Donnell sometime in the next week or so, and we get all the information that he can give me on it, and I'll have it for you.
Okay.
The fire department was ordered by the state this year also.
So we can get that.
Can we get a copy of that report?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
Kevin, I guess
it's-
Kevin can ask Kevin to get it.
I'll ask him, okay?
I mean, I did read that same article, and they're supposed to provide quarterly reports to the governing body on what LoSAP points are awarded, and so forth and so on.
I thought it was interesting, especially the guy that was the chairman of the soda machine and the picnics. I mean, I thought that was interesting.
I will tell you,
No, they don't do that.
just speaking as a member, we have a very, very challenging LoSAP because if we have over 50 plus members and roughly 18 get it, 20, it's not, trust me, it's not a gimme by any means. If it was a gimme, you'd have 54 people getting LoSAP. It's difficult. It's stringent. It's difficult. It really is. At least that, you know, it is on our side. So we'll let Kevin get the data from Kevin and go from there.
Okay.
Okay, Carolyn Bouillon.
Carolyn Brouillon, 12 Miller Street. I guess my question's for Dale. Well, actually, it could be for all of you. I don't know who would handle this one. Other than the PPDR, what recourse as a town do we have for abandoned properties that have been abandoned for, say, 20, 25 years? That are just sitting there vacant, that are infested with raccoons, have open doors and windows, and there's cats there and all possums and everything else growing around, that are right next to homes where children live and just, you know, regular people live. But what recourse is there? Are we doing a fine to the property owners? Are we doing anything to drive the property owner to do something?
Well, I think we're obviously code enforcement's doing what they do, which we're working on revamping that, as most people know in here. And we did also pass the council as a governing body, the abandoned property fee, basically, which would allow us, once that fund goes in, if we had to secure a building, right, Dale? We would be able to do that. I don't think there's any plans in place of us knocking them down at this point and then leaving properties. That could always happen, but I'm not sure legally, and I guess Bruce would have to weigh in, how that all happens.
Well, I wasn't asking about knocking anyone's property down,
Yeah.
but say somebody has, like, a building that's on my street, has been vacant for 25 years, has open doors, I think the door, and the front door at least, has been secured, but every single one of the windows are broken.
I
So
think
all
what we
sorts
should
of
be
critters
able
and
to
birds
do is
go in
go
there.
there and, you know, to border it up,
Right.
so it's enclosed. And that's what we have to look
You
into.
refer that, and that house has been referred to code enforcement, and that's been vacant for.
25 years.
I've been here.
It's a fair
And I know that you sent letters out for that or fines, I'm not sure which, but I know.
I guess that was my question. Since
Is
we
it-
have this new ordinance, have we
I don't know
actually
the address of the
fined
place.
anyone with this new ordinance? Has any of those tickets gone out? Has the property owner responded? Has any, I know
Well,
we
that
did
you
the
would have-
ordinance,
you would
but
have
has we
to-
done
You
anything?
would have to ask Dave Mercado, honestly, because he would probably be the guy that has sent the ticket, not so much Dale, it would have to be code enforcement and ask for an update.
Can
So-
the council get some kind of report on that?
Yeah, we can ask him to do a report of,
Deliver a report.
Absolutely, thank you.
and if you want to even email us all the specific address,
You got it?
I know you're 12 Miller, but I don't know.
It's 36 Miller, but
There
I
was
can,
some,
there's a
there was
whole
some,
mess of
two
them.
houses on
Susan
Ocean Avenue,
Stark's
Highlands. There was two houses on Ocean Avenue
Yeah.
that I'm not saying the bank owner, they came down and put plywood underneath the crawl space windows and up in any other window that was broken.
Right.
But I gather that this is just, I don't know who owns the house, if it's still getting taxed or whatever it is, but we should
But
take
yeah,
a
I
look at
think
it.
there's a lot of unanswered questions
It's just
from our end,
changed hands,
and I will
We'll
be
try to get
honest
it
with
done.
you, pre-Sandy, we had a substandard housing committee, and we were successful in knocking down some properties, next to the bus stop on Miller, up on the highway. Those were some of those projects, but those also had another large budget line item with them, because you have to be able to pay to knock them down. So it's definitely something we can revisit. I think once we make the changes in code enforcement, if we want to bring back that committee.
I'm gonna apologize, Chief, but we have police officers, they could be writing summonses, public safety, we have fire marshals, we have code enforcement officers. They all need to talk to each other and start writing the summonses till their fingers are bleeding. Demand these homeowners and these property owners apply to the laws, and some of them may not stick, like you said, they're paper laws without any merit, but what it's gonna do is force that homeowner to recognize there's a problem here. I know the officers have a higher priority than dealing with knuckleheads walking down the street drunk or something. But if they have the ability, they see a raccoon, we need to call animal control, we need to work as a team here. And that needs to happen aggressively, because Dave Ricardo has made it very clear to me, he's very happy with the new judge. Because the judge is supporting these summonses that are coming down, but it's gotta take some cycle time and a team effort. Just gonna have to be
Well,
aggressive.
we work with Dave very closely, we've met.
Good.
We met with Mr. Redmond, Mr. Hill, and Mr. Mercado, we worked out a system and
Good.
worked out that system. Where Dave's gonna write the tickets, because as explained, sometimes it crosses over between the ordinance, zoning, building, sometimes it's not really covered, it can be covered better under one or the other, so it's all going through Dave, we're gonna refer them to Dave, that's what we're doing.
Good.
Dave's gonna keep
Thank you.
checking it out.
All right, Barbara Iannucci, 28 Shrewsbury. I'm sorry, Carolyn, were you done?
I'm done, thank you all.
I have a few items. One, I just want to continue with this abandoned house and vacant. You mentioned the police need, to take care of other issues that are not related to property appearance, but they go hand in hand. You have a neighborhood with abandoned, weed-filled properties. That's where they congregate, that's where they go. I know from Saturday night after Wind and Sea, they don't go walking on my property, but they go walking on the properties where the homes are clearly abandoned. So if you take care of that, you're gonna take care of a lot of disorderly conduct, and you're gonna have people conform with a better behavior mode when they're walking down our public streets. Right now, it's just a dump to them, and they act like people in a dump. But if they have a neighborhood with pride and that looks well, the behavior of visitors coming in is going to change. So it does go hand in hand, and I think what I'm hearing, be it on Facebook here, you do have all these things in place, but they're not working. So I think everyone's asking for a strong, high priority to make it work. I know that DPPR or what, they even stress, T&M, that if you don't have a strict code enforcement hand in hand with this program isn't going to get off the ground. So combine it. We have a few things now that make code enforcement a very strong focus. So I just want to suggest that the council puts it up there. And the other thing is obviously the budget, Mr. Blasio.
Yeah.
I know everyone I've been very vocal about it for the past couple of days. The adopted, the approved, the actual literal meaning. I still know that we have made 3 amendments to your original introduction, which in my mind means we've automatically accepted that these increases are going to happen. So I want to ask, one, how much given your new numbers, how much of a reserve did we actually carry over from 214?
Reserve for what?
From people maybe not using all their others, or maybe not meeting the budget that they thought they would need. Did anyone carry over some money?
Sure did.
So, and that's called reserve, is it not?
Yes, it is.
How much is carried, what did we start with before any budget appropriations happened for 15?
Okay, I can read that right off the budget document there. That's right, so the question is how much was left over from last year's budget?
Yeah, it wasn't necessary.
And this is a snapshot. Unfortunately, that's the only number I have. This is a snapshot as of December 31st.
Okay,
And we had 941,000 left over from last year's budget.
okay.
Um,
So that, would you say the 9.5% tax increase was successful? If we had such a high reserve, that's a decent reserve?
But that's a decent reserve.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was as of then, and it does change.
Oh, I do know that, but
Yeah.
at least that's nice to know we weren't at zero.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on the May 6th hearing where there were public comments,
Yeah.
did any recommendations, anything go back either to the finance committee or to you or to whoever controls the budget, I guess it would be Mr. Hill? Was there any result from that public hearing on May 6th, or was that just a process for us to vent?
Well, I don't think there was any further changes to the introduced budget that came out of that meeting, but it certainly was discussed. I believe the items were discussed at the budget committee level, but I don't recall any changes coming right out from those comments. And let me just back you up a little bit, Barb. So we introduced the budget. Those amendments that you're talking about, right? We're only amending the temporary budget, and that was to survive, right? So,
Yeah.
so the budget's set up where you get 25% there of last year's budget, and then you keep amending the temporary budget. So this budget really only got amended one time, and that was through tonight.
Okay.
That was tonight's action, right? All that other stuff you heard or
It's just like emergency funding to pay the bills.
That's right.
Yes.
Right,
No,
so it's
I-
all temporary stuff. Now we're talking about the real budget.
Okay. Will the new real budget be on our link on our town site? Right now, I think we're getting the introduced budget, which
That's right.
pretty much is new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will it be on before, it really gets, it's required that it gets put online after adoption. So the only changes to that introduced budget was all those bunch of numbers I just read, which sounds like a lot, but there really wasn't many changes, believe it or not.
Well, the lot looked like they went up.
Yeah, we had, basically, there was only a few that went up. And this off the top of my head here, real quick. Legal went up, I believe, 10,000, engineering went up 20,000, and the rest was simply a shifting from outside to inside the cap. So there really weren't any other changes, except for really those two. There was just shifting of money. There was some monies that we wanted to get out of the essential service grant for building inspection, and we allocated that to two spots, one for code and one for the building inspector. So it was allocated a little differently.
Okay. And that leads me to my final question.
Yeah.
Why didn't we get what we requested for your grant application? What was wrong? What did we
Nothing.
not do?
Absolutely nothing. This is new money. This is money that we got well above nothing last year. We got over 400,000 this year. So after we attended the meeting down at the state, we asked for everything we could possibly ask for. Okay, we put in $1 million, knowing we weren't going to get it, but we were going for it. We did receive, the award was, I think the number was something like 85% of the maximum award we could have got, we got, which was a good award. That's a number, we got zero last year. That's newfound money this year. Extremely happy with that. I certainly wanted to get the group wanted to get certainly $1 million,
Yeah.
but that's the number, and it's new money, and we're real happy with that.
Okay, because word on the shore publicized at Seabright, pretty much, they were only 20 grand less, they got like 700,000.
Did they? Yeah.
And $1 million last year, and then $1 million the first year,
And
this is the final year for that grant.
Yes, and I may say this, most of it's driven by your valuation. So our valuations are coming back, and most of it's driven by that. So there's no magic here, you know. So
Beach
their
club
towns'
stuff.
valuations are coming back a little bit less for them to receive more money.
Gotcha.
Okay, did we apply for a higher school?
I don't know the status of last year.
So that's zero, and I don't think we did.
Okay, Rosemary, 2 Central Avenue?
One
Oh, yeah, one, I'm sorry. It's funny because it looks like 2 Center Street.
Nope.
Oh, you prefer it? I know where you live. That's why I was confused.
But first of all, I just want to say thank you to you and Councilwoman McCain for helping facilitate this issue with rodents on Central Avenue. I spoke with Dave Mercado tonight, and hopefully he's going to come over tomorrow. And he doesn't really seem to have anything in place, but maybe by tomorrow he will. So
Okay.
keep you posted.
Okay.
But the real reason I came is I have a sort of simple suggestion. I and other residents in the last couple of weeks have, gone on the website to get times when borough officials are available, and they're totally wrong. Like Nancy O'Neill is still listed and it's morning hours, but then when you go to the Solution Center, there's a sign that says it's certain days, but it's in the afternoon. And like people arrange their schedules to do things based on the website and expect it to be accurate. So that seems like a simple fix, that should, like, when,
Yeah, actually,
when
what I'll
changes
do-
like that happen,
I'll
it
ask
should be
Carol
done
now
now.
to.
No, they just gave it to us.
Oh, you already did it?
Yeah, so were you the one that called?
I was.
Okay. She called me directly, and I don't know when to go find out if things have changed, but usually someone tells me, but after she let me know, I reached out, I got to Carolyn, and then I also went down to the building department and got all the information straight, and it's now up.
Great, thank you.
Okay,
Because
great.
I got that tonight, but I didn't see it. So
Yeah, thank you.
That's great, thank you. And one other thing, is it possible in that page where you have the list of the zoning officers, can it be in alphabetical order? It's much easier.
But you know, list of zoning officers.
Well, you've got, when you go
Okay,
to municipal offices, you use the button, you click on it, and then you get a list of all the different departments. that you
Oh,
click
officer.
on.
I know what you
Click on,
mean,
get-
and
But
yes.
they're not in alphabetical order.
You're right, they're
So
not.
it's so much easier to be able to find things if code enforcement is at
Yeah.
the top and not at the bottom.
Yeah,
And zoning
I
is at the bottom.
agree. I'm not I don't know if it's worth me changing that right now because there may, something's coming along, so, but if I think it's gonna be there for a few more months, maybe I'll switch
Yeah,
it.
and just keep it in mind for the.
Yeah, no, I agree, I
It
agree.
would be great to have things to be a bit more user friendly, it's a little clunky to use right now.
Yeah.
It was a little more airy, it's very thick with information.
Yes.
And stuff. Okay, and then my last thing, also, just putting in 2 cents, it's great that new businesses that are different are coming to town, but I want to put my 2 cents, can we please get a hardware store in this town? It's like, I've missed it, since we could get a pop-up, but like, do something with Home Depot or Lowe's, or ask Jaspers if they want to do a pop-up, it would be great to not have to get in a car when you need something as simple as like a hook, and have to drive all the way, to other towns. That's it, thank you very much.
Okay, Lori Dibble, 2 Matthew Street.
Lori Dibble, 2 Matthew Street. I wanted to ask about, Barbara brought it up about the essential services, but so the reason that we didn't get the full amount that we asked for is that what we asked for exceeded the maximum amount that was allowable? Okay, that's good to know. All right, so the essential DCA, the Renew New Jersey Stronger part of DCA, wants to take $20 million out of the essential service grant budget and put it in to fund some other programs. And if they don't take that $20 million, they will be a third year of funding for essential services. There is a public hearing on this on the 21st at Brookdale through DCA. And it would really behoove the towns that will be impacted by this to go and say something. Or to submit a letter or something, because they're saying they will address all of the letters. Now, I know all of the programs need money. They want to take the $20 million and put it into the LMI program to fund the reconstructions for the lower middle income
Lord, they want to take 29 million of that. It isn't the whole.
No, it's 20 million from Essential, but there's other money from other pots too. But 20 million is coming from Essential Services. And their reasoning is they're saying that the towns don't need it. And I talked to attorneys at Fair Share Housing about another matter. I had a meeting with them last week, and they told me that if the towns want to keep this money, they have to say something.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
Pass that resolution.
Okay. Katie Reed, 7 Snow Harbor.
Katie Reed, 7 Snow Harbor. Really happy that work is being done at the community center. That's progress. I wanted to talk, Carolyn and Barbara also talked about the abandoned properties. Everybody knows that's, something that I submitted a list with properties on it numerous times. I don't want them just boarded up, these ones that have been sitting there. I want them knocked down, or at least send some notification to the owner with the intent. I mean, some people probably are dead. They're probably just, like.
I mean, I have to tell you, I know the one house that you talked prominently about, they were on the substandard housing list pre-Sandy, and they were notified. Because what happens was when we had that committee pre-Sandy, and we did knock down a few, we kind of went down a list. Okay, these were the worst eyesores. And with that, we met weekly with construction people and it was a special attorney, right? Bruce, what kind of attorney was that? I can't remember. It was Pat McNamara.
Yeah.
And he
that was a
basically,
while ago.
Attorney for the substandard.
yeah, and what he did was he sent the certified letters. It's a definite challenge, but I think it's something we should resurrect.
I think we should determine how many properties have been sitting for over, just 25 years, 20 years.
Right.
And just start there and just, like,
Okay.
those are like, if we could just get an idea of what we're doing.
Well, I think
we
that's
still
what
don't
we'll ask
really have
Mr.
an
Mercado
idea.
for.
For the boards, I don't even think you're allowed to keep buildings boarded for X amount
Right.
of time. When's the last time we looked at that?
So,
They paint his property on
Keeps
the
eroding,
corner.
so-
My office has been meeting with Tim as well
might be a number.
regarding Katie's list.
It is.
Oh, okay.
There might be a number, 20, 25 years, where it's like easier to get it knocked down.
And
Or
Katie, just so you know, I'll let Bruce just.
My office is working on that list that you gave with Tim.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Okay.
And one other thing, which probably upset a couple people, but the smoking thing, I just asked that the crossing guard, he only works a couple of, any crossing guard? Everybody has a right to do whatever.
Yeah.
but that's
Not when
the
you're
school
working
crossing
in a
guard,
uniform,
so
no.
that's just my little.
Well, and then we don't want it, not supposed to smoke, you smoke on your break.
Both.
To me, it's not offensive.
Okay, guys. All right, well, that's the public portion. Just before we adjourn, we have 2 more things that Dale needs to give a quick update on, the FEMA map update.
Yeah, basically, I haven't talked about this in a while. We're still trying to get FEMA to adopt these maps sooner, knowing the situation that's going on. My contact with FEMA that's been working with us, he's being reprogrammed down to Virginia, so I'm starting over again with somebody new. Exactly, I had the same reaction. And basically, by these maps being, and I'm going to use the word delayed because they are. I mean, it's ridiculous they're taking so long to get things done. But by these maps not getting adopted next year, it's really hindering us in getting into the community rating system. So we're still trying to push forward that. The 2 people I've been dealing with, I've given up on. I've gone around them. I got another new name, so I'm going to try that. I know the county OEM, Margaret Murnane, right? They've offered assistance, so I don't know if maybe it's something that Dave could help me with. Just trying to get. All we want to do is get into the program. We know that we've got some of the stuff we're doing gives us points. So if we get actually into the program, we've already got points we can accumulate and start seeing some more savings on the insurance. So that's kind of where we're at. Because I haven't talked about it in a while. I want to let people know what's happening.
It's important that you, OEM officer, get involved in that, support you in that, because that is it should be his number one focus, because that is a huge benefit to the community that's been, should have been done years ago.
Well, it's frustrating that, that they won't let us in, and they're holding, bad practices in the past against us, and then this whole debacle with the maps, isn't helping us right now.
Okay, and then the only last thing I want to bring up before we adjourn is that there will be a special council meeting next Thursday, the 23rd, at 7 a.m. It's basically for the award of the streetscape program. The bids come in on the 21st. We want to award it as soon as possible, and there's a couple other items that'll be on there, I think 4 or 5 that we've all discussed from executive that everybody is on board with.
For public somewhere, there's no expenditures, no thing,
Probably, yeah.
last minute buying
No.
things, except for the Dale's approval for the bid for the, budget.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so and then most likely I'll